Hi, my name is Daniel Walter Scott, and in this training we're going to look at registering your domain name using the world's most popular domain registrar, GoDaddy. So from the home page, up here along the top where it says search domain, type in the domain name you'd like to buy. Now for this example, I'm going to be buying the domain name called greengardenersupplies.com. Okay, I'm going to hit search domain. It says yes, your domain is available. Great, I'm going to click continue. Now, GoDaddy are going to give you a couple of other extra options. They're going to try and upsell you with things, so let's go through this. This first one here, it says for your privacy. So what happens is when you register a domain name, you will have to give your name, your address, your phone number. That goes against your registration. But what you can do is you can, down here, you can pay for $7.99 per domain for a year. This will hide this registry, and what ends up happening is that instead of your name going into the name field, GoDaddy will register this domain for you in their name. So instead of your name, Daniel Walter Scott, it will have GoDaddy. Instead of your address, it'll have their address, and so on, protecting you from people being able to easily find out who registered this domain. Now for me, I don't bother with this extra cost because I think it's a benefit for me to be able to contact it for my domain. If you are in a probably a little bit more exciting industry than software training like me, you might want to have this extra protection for privacy. Using this protection can save you from a little bit of spam. What happens is when you register your domain name, there are people and companies and bots out there that will go through your whois listing and registration and find out your name and your email address and start spamming you. Now, most of the spam gets stopped by even the most basic email system. I use Gmail professional version, and that stops pretty much 100% of any of that type of spam getting through. The second option is to add hosting to your account. Now, most people, when they are building a website, will buy the domain name at the same time they do their hosting. Now, this option on this side has an option for kind of like a template website builder. It's not probably my best advice to use this option to build your website, but if you are up to something really quick and easy and a little bit nasty, then go ahead and use this option. That'll give you an online web builder plus hosting. Over this side will just give you hosting. Now, the ideas around hosting are important enough that I've created a set of little videos for you to go check out directly about hosting. The short answer is if you're just starting off with a website, you probably only need this first version here of economy. Okay, you can also register without either of these two, just have the domain name. Now this last one where it says email, you're unlikely to buy a domain name and only have email. You're probably likely to have a domain name with a website. But if you just plan to have a domain name and you just want an email address, daniel@greengardenersupplies.com, you'll be able to add this little option. Now, if you are going to get hosting, it's one or the other. You do not need this and this. You'll see your hosting has email as part of this as well. And to be honest, it's more common to have email as part of your hosting than to do it separately. And probably even more common now is to not use any of these services for email and to use a service like Google for Work, where they have your own professional domain name, daniel@greengardenersupplies.com, but use the Gmail interface that we all know and love for our private email. That's coming more and more common these days. Now let's click continue to cart. Now here you can choose the term, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 5 years, and 10 years. Here we've got the option again to change if we want to make our listing private. Some added extra domain names if we want to protect the .net, .co, .info. This one here, recommended for you, search engine visibility. My recommendation is that this is not worth the money here. You can do some basic search engine visibility yourself, which we'll cover in one of my web design courses. So let's skip that. I don't think it's worth it. We can add another domain name, and here we go, ready to check out. This is where you fill out your billing information. Mine's all blurry, hopefully. Payment method, you can decide whether you're going to use your credit card or PayPal. I'm going to use PayPal for this one. Make sure you agree to the following Universal Terms of Service Agreement and Domain Name Registration Agreement. I'm going to place my order. Now here I'm going to fill out my PayPal account. This is where you'll be either filling out your PayPal or credit card details. Great, we now have a domain name. Now our domain name doesn't go to any hosting website just yet. I will do a second set of videos going through how to set up the hosting and then another set of how to build a website. But well done. It's quite exciting to have our first little domain name.